And I think we can get started. Hello and welcome everyone. Today is January 13 and this is Metal Cube community meeting. Just a reminder that this meeting will be recorded and posted later on the Metal Cube YouTube channel. If you have any items that you want to discuss today, then please go ahead and add it to the agenda. Also, please add your name in the attendees list. I will also quickly share the link to the document on the chat here. So as usual, to start with, if there is someone new on the call, please give us a brief introduction about yourself, and I will try to mute my microphone meanwhile. Okay, I think we can move on then to the agenda. So the first item in the agenda is from Ashu. Please review proposals for hardware classification controller additional parameters, I think. Ashu,
Yes,
do you want to talk about it?
right. Yeah, actually, so we have submitted these proposals a month back. So actually, we got the review comments from Doug, and we have addressed those review comments and means updated those proposals. And we just want some other guy from community just review these things and give some review comment and any suggestion which will be means any suggestion will be helpful.
Any questions or comments on this proposal? There are actually two proposals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, then I haven't reviewed or was not involved in this, but if there is someone on the call who has done the review or has any comments, please just give any comments either on the proposal or better on the proposal. Okay, I think we can move on and discuss how we proceed with proposals and the reviews, because we kind of agreed the last time, but I will mention it next when it comes to my order. So the next one is from Arvinder, request for the review and lazy consensus on the proposal as well, I think. Arvinder?
Hello. Yeah, just like last time, I just wanted to ask people if they could take a look. Doug and Mail have already reviewed it, but if other people wanted to take a look, I would appreciate it. Also, I think we discussed potentially having a lazy consensus on this place because it's been open since October or so. If we could perhaps get that in place, would appreciate it.
Mile or Doug, or I don't know if you're on call, how long do you think would be enough for having the lazy consensus for the proposal, if you have done some reviews already?
Well, I don't think Doug is on the call, but for me, I didn't have time yet to check what he put there. But I would expect a standard like 1 week lazy consensus to be fine if there's nothing like that needs to be modified.
Okay. Then someone else has any comments or feedbacks or objections on the proposal? No? Then I think maybe we can agree and then like mention on the proposal itself to have a lazy consensus of the week, and then if there are no any other objections, further objections until the next Wednesday, I think it would be good to get it merged. Yep. Then yeah, Arvinder, do you want to add something else, or can we move on?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. So the next one is just a small update. Most of you already saw either in the mailing list or maybe you were in the last call. So we decided to have community meetings more frequently, like every week, rather than bi-weekly. Couple of reasons just to mention here as well is that like the community is kind of growing, and we started seeing more items in the agenda list, and sometimes it happened that we didn't have, like, 1 hour was not enough to go through all the items in the agenda. And then the second reason was that it would be good to have or to allocate some time, for example, for some pull requests or for some proposals or some issues, so that we can discuss, like everyone can discuss on the call live, and help those proposals or issues or the PRs to move a bit faster, um, so that like they don't get stuck. Um, so that's why like everyone agreed, like most of the people agreed who are on the call, to have it more frequently. So from today, we're gonna have, like, starting from this week, these community meetings will be every week. Any questions or comments on this? Nope. Okay. The next item is from Nam. Please take a look at the PRs now.
Yes. So we have opened a couple of PRs for white, which is like some effort to shift the TLS handler from Ironic API and Ironic Inspector to Apache server, since we are facing some problem with the TLS handler from Python SSL library. That's the Ironic is using. That's why we need to switch to the Apache server. So and this feature is quite. I mean, we need this quite urgently. So please, anyone, please take a look at that and give us some review. Yes, and also one thing is another thing is the I have a chat on the Ironic IRC channel also about these PRs, and one thing that we need more people to involve, maybe Jen, if you here, please involve because uh, we were discussing whether should we move the basic authentication part from Ironic to the Apache server. So if you have time, also please take a look. I also,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
yeah. I just want to say that I also refer to Jen in the PR, the Ironic image PR. Yep, that's it.
Thank you. So I say it's chain of PR. You have one in inspector and one in ironic, right? And then
Yeah,
some.
there's the main ones, and some
Okay.
other PRs.
Yeah. Any questions or comments that someone wants to give? Um, I'm not sure why it's. I think you are waiting for more reviews, right? Now I'm on.
Yes.
I see Dimitri has been heavily involved, and yeah.
So I haven't had a chance to look at this yet, but did we reach a conclusion on whether we should be running Apache in the same container or a separate container in the same pod? Is that, where do we get to on that?
Yes, in some previous meeting, yeah, we had a discussion about that, and at that meeting, it seemed like nobody disagree with the having multiple Apache instances, but then I had a discussion with the Dimitri, and he still prefer to have only one HTTP instance, let's say for it repo, like maybe it's just one for Ironic, something like that. Because maybe he was afraid that more than one HTTP Apache instances can add more workload, add more delay overall. That's why in the PR I also adapt it. So now just only one HTTP for several purposes.
Okay, yeah. So because we're already running HTTPD in a separate container,
Yeah.
I guess the idea would be to reuse that one,
Yeah.
this part, but I don't know how feasible that is.
Yeah, before that we have separated HTTPD for IP for IPA for the Ironic Python agent to download the image, and I also make use of that HTTPD for the WHGI purpose. But I think maybe because with Ironic Inspector, I also need a HTTPD insert for to work as a revert process. So in this case, I need a separate HTTPD instance. I mean, it's like one for Ironic and one for Ironic Inspector.
Yeah. Yeah, I can actually, I can imagine that in the future we're going to want to deploy the APIs in a separate pod from the, or maybe even separate pods themselves, but separate from the one with conductor, and which is where we're running Apache right now. So I'm guessing we're going to end up running multiple Apaches anyway.
Yeah.
And if we're doing that anyway, then we might as well have them in separate containers so that they so that we don't have, you know, like Dimitri said, and they're like, you know, you only get the logs from one process. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right, I'll try to get to these reviews and have a look.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there someone else that wants to give any comments or feedbacks on these proposals or the pull requests? Nope. Then thank you, and thank you, Zane, for reviewing that. Like, if you're going to do that. The next item. Okay, sorry. From Mile, what is the impact of 749 with regard to solving these issues? Mile?
Yeah, thanks. Well, I'll take the opportunity that Zane is on the call to ask something, because so I was reviewing this PR earlier this morning, and I got really confused with the comment that you added on the other issue. I had it wrong at first in the document, right? So so I was wondering if you would have any like more details on how to go around this problem, or like what we could do to like automatically take this host out of the adopt fail state.
Yeah.
Like,
so the only idea I
Any
had.
info.
Yeah. So the problem is, before we call adopt, we call register. And if that register succeeds, which it has to if we're going to call adopt after, then we clear all the errors and say, yeah, everything's working. And so there's no way when we go call adopt, there's no way to know whether, if we call adopt and we see an error in ironic, there's no way to know whether that's an error we've already seen or whether it's a new one. So the only solution that we've thought of is, so Andrea has a patch up that is to only clear registration errors when registration succeeds, which makes a lot of sense. But right now, when the adopt fails, we're also setting registration error. So the only idea we had was we could take Andrea's patch and then change the type of error that happens on adopt to something like adoption error. Although that's kind of not something I want to expose to users, because users should never need to know about adoption, but so we need to come up with a better name. But if we had a different type of error for adoption, then we could say in register, okay, register succeeded, but there's a different type of error flagged, so we're not going to clear that, and then we'll wait till then when we go to adopt, we can say, okay, there's already an error set, so if we're here again, then retry. That's the only idea I've had. If anyone has a better idea, be happy to hear it. But that's probably what we're going to do at this point, unless I can think of something better.
Okay, so if I got it correctly, the main problem was that we're using twice the same. Well, we're using the same error in two different cases, and then there's no way to differentiate them.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the explanation.
No worries. Yeah, so the stuff in 749 doesn't help, but it doesn't hurt either.
But then when it comes to the other issue that we had, that the BMH was stuck at some point in this registration error. So because this was at some point put as a solution, right? Like Forcat had this setup where it was able to reproduce the issue, and this solved the problem there, right? Is Forcat on the call?
Yeah, it solved a problem, but I think a different one.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. You are talking about not this issue. It's like
the other one.
Yes, yes. That's solved with this the patch that's open on the next tab. The retries with back off. Yeah, this solves the issue.
It's 739, right?
Yeah,
it's the one that solves. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then, well, we probably should go forward with merging this. But I don't know. Maybe Andrea would want to give the last round on the round of review. I don't know.
Honestly, he already said it would go to him, but it needed a rebase at that point. So
yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Then I can just put an LGTM and get.
Yeah,
get that.
I think so. I don't think we need to. Like, we slow ourselves down a bit by like everyone waiting for 3 people to hack every patch, and I think it's probably unnecessary in a lot of cases.
But great, thanks a lot. That's going to at least solve quite a bit of issues we had. That's great. Thanks a lot for the PR.
No worries.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Then, is there someone else that still wants to discuss something before we move on to the issue triage? And I assume that we have nothing in the triage, but if you have something that you still want to discuss, then please go ahead right now.
For us?
Yep.
Did anybody speak about 292? Where we stand on that?
Yeah. 1 second. Let me open that.
If they've already spoken about it, then I don't need to revisit it. But I was late getting here.
Yeah, we didn't touch that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I saw that there were a couple of more reviews.
Yeah, there was a couple more reviews, and it looks to me like Zane gave his approval and Doug gave his approval, but
Oh,
they didn't use the /approval. Well, now we got conflicting files, but they didn't use the /approval tag, so the bot doesn't know about it. And I was just curious.
So I reviewed this last night.
Okay.
And so there is one problem, at least that I've spotted, which is due to other stuff changing, which has been the perennial problem with this PR.
Right.
And so what I suggested there is that we should actually cut this down, and instead of trying to tackle all of the RAID stuff and have somebody review all 2,000 lines of patch, we should have a PI just to set up the new state that does the manual cleaning. And that's the one that keeps getting out of sync with stuff that's happening, all the other stuff that's being merged. If we can get that one in without the distraction of all the RAID stuff, then the RAID thing should be easy, because we already did a design doc where we all agreed on the API for it. I hate to shift the goalposts on people, but like the reality is the goalposts are shifting all the time because other patches are emerging, and like we really need to get this in so that other things that are changing can take this into account. But as it stands, it will only work the first time. The next time around, like the second time you go to provision something, it's not going to do the manual cleaning right now. And that's because of another change. Like I'm sure at the time that this was written, this would have worked. So I had a mailing list post before Christmas suggesting that we should actually add the preparing state. Basically, instead of doing preparing right before provisioning, do it earlier so that the host has to be prepared before it goes into the ready state. And I think given that we have to rework this anyway, then maybe we should just go ahead and implement that rather than trying to fix this up and then change it later. I don't know. I have this on my list of stuff to do myself, but I don't know that I'm going to have time to get to it before someone else would. So
yeah, I can't speak for Fujitsu. I know they're the ones who submitted this PR. So I know Norris trying to get his piece that fits on top of this for the RAID, and that's why I'm asking, because Norris asked me to mention it today since he wasn't going to be available.
Yeah. I mean, I hate what we've been doing to these guys. Like it's like the worst thing you can do to a contributor is like string them out for like a year and a half. Like it's terrible. But there's so much to review here.
Yes, I realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one can really do a 2,000 line
Yeah.
code review. It's just.
And actually, I think some of that is there. It's not quite as bad as it looks, because I realized after I posted that comment that it's actually there seems to be a different tool version being used to generate the CIDs, so it's like reformatting metro shit for no reason.
I'm sure Hellcat is, whoever that is I commend them for their patience and
yeah
for pursuing this and trying to get this through.
Yeah. So I'm trying to come up with ways like, how can we make this more, and that like get the bits that are always changing like in mainline, so that we actually take them into account when we make other changes, and hopefully maybe that will help. But it's also more work for somebody.
Okay.
Also sucks. So yeah, basically the whole situation sucks.
Well, I'll try to get Nora to help get this done. But if you can kind of watch over it, or Doug or somebody can just kind of watch over it, and we'll see if we can't get this thing wrapped up sooner than later, because it's, like you said, it's a year and a half, or coming up to a year and a half before long.
Yeah. So I realized when I looked at this that I haven't actually looked at it in like 6 months. So I have at least given it a cursory read through and sort of reloaded some of the context.
Okay.
The implementation has changed even from what I approved like a year ago. Plus, what it's the upstream that it's based on has changed as well. So I have a little bit of context loaded now, so that's something. But yeah, it's
all right.
still ways away.
I thought you'd approved it a while back, and then I saw some other people try to prove it, but they didn't actually use the bot /approve.
Yeah, so I approved it like
6 months ago.
Yeah, or more. But then and that was like because the implementation of the cleaning looked good to me at that point. And in retrospect, I wish I'd suggested we separated out then, because we could have merged that implementation. But then what happened was more reviews came in on the API, which is like massive and super complex. And we realized that actually reviewing the API on this PR was not a productive way of doing it, and that we should have a design document where we all kind of
right
review the API there, which was good, but we should have merged everything but the API at that point and split it apart then. So I'm kind of 6 months late with the suggestion, but maybe this time it will help.
Okay, well, 9 hours ago, he's still trying to fix the manual clean, the RAID clean steps. I don't know. I don't know how we get them on the call here, because their time zone's quite different than ours.
Maybe like it would be possible to organize like another call, like so that they can also join and discuss, and so that they're also in there on the call.
I'm going to talk to Nora and see if he can put together a call with them, and I don't know who else, maybe Zane or Doug or somebody else who can discuss this, because without a call, I don't think we're going to come to a resolution on this one easily.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll talk to Nora. I don't have anything else other than that. I was just curious.
Okay. Thank you.
you.
Thanks. So, if there are no any other items, then just to check that, yeah, we don't have any issues. So what I wanted to mention earlier is that, so with these frequent community meetings, we wanted to allocate some time to kind of do some either reviews on the PRs or the proposals or the issues, but I don't know the exact format of that. And I think what would be possible is that, like, if someone has some some PRs or like issues or whatever is hanging, and they could just come and ask for the review here, and probably, for example, do some walkthrough so that others could also give some comments right on the call, or trying to discuss what is exactly blocking that feature or the proposal to get merged. I think that's the only way that I see for now, because I cannot imagine people sitting together and doing the review here. So that's how we can do that. Like, if people have some pull requests, they could just come and maybe discuss here as we are doing right now, and potentially maybe we have now more time for the demos as well if there are some demos in the future. But yeah, that's basically it for today, I think, and thanks everyone for joining, and see you next week on Wednesday. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
day.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. See you later.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.